measurements. Our temperature was at 74.2 degrees, where what we're looking at was our relative specific gravity was at 1.0238 or thereabouts. And we're looking for 1.025. So first of all, we want to see what this actually was. So I wonder if we're going to look at that other page in a minute, because I think maybe I can skip this stuff. But what we're doing here is we're saying, hey, I observed salinity. Oh yeah, let me plug this real quick. This Hamaza's Reef, I believe it's called. Notice there is a copyright down here. So this is, I'm just kidding, hey, this is not my page. This gentleman, wherever he is in the world, created this wonderful site that has all these like 49 different calculators. And this helps you figure out like how you need to adjust things, among other things. So, great plug, great site. Anyway, here's the salinity we observed. This 77 degrees is what the tropic marin is calibrated for, the hydrometer. Yes, I know, if you go, guys, and you look at all the videos, or like use a refractometer, which, hey, if you can do that, have at it. I like the hydrometer because, like, for one thing, I can, zoom my phone in on it and I can read it. Well, when Murphy's law of the hydrometers isn't in effect, and I can actually, see the scale, the numbers. Yeah, it works great. And here's where I'm putting in my normal temperature, and this is what it's saying. Okay, 1.0234. So we got that number. Now we go to this number this site here, which is the resulting salinity direct salt addition calculator. Again, Hamaza's Reef, copyright 2010 to 25. Not my page, but it's a great resource. So I'm going to assume my water volume is 4 3/4 gallons, because I'm in the United States and we like our gallons. There's the resulting salt salinity that we were measuring. I think I could have maybe changed this to 74.2, but I'm just going to do it this way. I want 1.025. This water impurity and salt mix is something I've never messed with. If you click on this, it tells you how to measure it in your current batch. I'm not going to worry about it at this point. Maybe I will at a future date, but they tell you how to go and, measure it. Anyway, so I'm going to leave that alone. And I hit the calculate button here, and I use grams just because 0.1 pounds isn't particularly useful. So I find this is a little easier to deal with. 47.48 grams of salt. So how do we get that? I've got like a little kitchen scale here somewhere. We'll measure it out that way. We'll put it, it's it's not a lot of salt. I mean, 47 grams is nothing. And plus, we are very close. We want 1.025, we're at 1.023, so for a first shot, it's really close. Anywho, that's all for here. We will go back and do some measuring and whatnot, and salt and more measuring. Okay, so we found we need 47.48 grams. So we're going to round that down to 47. The first thing we're going to have to do with our kitchen scale is, we're going to have to zero the scale, because you look here, my cup here weighs 58 grams. Even this red Solo cup weighs like 7 or 9. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to zero it so that we don't have to do any math. Then I'm going to take my measuring spoons, because these are what I have, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of salt in there, Yeah, okay, we can add a little faster than that. Remember, it's easier just to add. Ooh, we are so close. Okay, just a little bit. I'm just going to reset it. All right, we'll call that good. Now we're going to go add it to the saltwater, and we will retard the pump, let it sit for 15 minutes or so, then we'll take another reading and see how close we are. Hopefully we're pretty close. Okay, everyone. So we measured our saltwater with our hydrometer, 1.0254. Which, oh no, that's too high, right? No, because we need to correct it for temperature still. So after the correction, you can see on the handy dandy salinity correction calculator from Hamas's Reef, I put in my new temperature of 73.9 degrees. My house is a little cool. Got the air conditioner running at 68, so yeah, this makes sense. It's cooling off. The water's cooling off. So after correction, and I kind of assumed this when I saw it because it dropped by the salinity drop, or specific gravity, I should say, dropped by 0.0004, that I was right on. And look at this, I am right on 1.025. And as simple as that, folks. There's nothing complicated about this. You just have to be deliberate. You know, if you really want to get it right on the money, you know, if you're just starting, add, you know, don't maybe add quite as much as you think. Like, especially if you're like, you got a 5-gallon bucket, right? You didn't fill it all the way up because maybe you want a little room. You don't want water on the floor because, again, the whole point is to put the water in the bucket, not in the floor or on the floor. Trust me, I've done this. It's not pretty. But, you know, so you can always add a little bit more, a little more salt. And it's what I ended up doing. I was like, okay, well, if I would have added that full half cup, then I would have been way off. I would have been probably 1.028. And then I would have basically had to maybe take like a half gallon of water out and put in a half gallon of RO water. In fact, we'll go over that real quick just so you can get an idea what that might look like. We're good here. But let's assume that, you know, maybe my correction, let's put this in here, 1.0284. All right. Let's just assume this was my measurement after, for whatever point during what we're doing. There's my corrected salinity for temperature, 1.028. So what do I do with this? So this is not this is a direct salinity calculator. We want something else. We want what he calls the resulting salinity calculator. So let's go to salinity, resulting salinity calculator. Let's just do a for instance, all right? So if I want to do 4.75 gallons, the current salinity 1.028. Don't forget to change this to relative specific gravity because that's what we're using with my hydrometer. Guys, there's other ways of measuring it, you know, feel free. All right, so let's see. let's say I want to add, let's go with a 1/4 gallon, 0.25, right? And the salinity of the water that we're going to say it's RO water, 0. We could change this, but we don't need to because again, 0, 0. All right, hit the calculator button. I must have forgotten something. Let's see, 1.0 water added, 0.25 gallons. There it goes. Why are you making a letter? Salinity of water added must be between 1 and, oh, duh. I'm stupid. 1.0. Duh. Thank you, Hamaz, for keeping me from being stupid. There we go. All right. Oop, change this back. All right, so that didn't do anything. 1.0, well, actually it did. 1.0266. So that ain't going to work, right? That'll bring us up to 5 gallons, but we want to get 1.025. So we need to maybe do this a little bit differently. So let's do this. Let's say I replace, right? Water replaced. Let's go with half a gallon. This is a little bit of a, there we go. Ignore what I said about 0 being 0 earlier. All right, so let's just say we replace. So what are we talking about here? We take a half gallon out, which I could do. I have a half gallon pitcher. I could take a half gallon out. That would leave 4.25 left. I add 0.5 gallons of 0 salinity water, or in this case, relative specific gravity of 1.00. I hit calculate. Oh, wow. Am I good or what? I actually didn't practice that. That was just me kind of guessing. But this would be, if you overshot your salinity by 1.028, you would basically replace half a gallon of water with 0 salinity, or 1.0 SG, relative specific gravity, RODI water. Boom, you get 1.025. So you just have to be careful here, guys, right? For instance, I'm not sure exactly if I'm at 4.75 gallons. That's a rough estimate on my part for my bucket, because I didn't fill it all the way up. We could do some other things where I could make a mark or, think about it. I could weigh the water and see how much it weighs and, divide that by, what was it, 8.1, 8.2, I forget what, it's 8 pounds and change. Google it. And, come up with what the exact water is. It's one way you could do it. This would be how you adjust it if you overshot. Thank you for watching, and please hit that like or subscribe button if you like the channel.